Hi guys. Hi. How are you this fantabulous evening? Great. Excellent. So before I begin, I'm going to tell you something that I told you guys the very first time we met at the Speakers Institute Bootcamp. And once I'm done telling you that, I want a promise from you that you guys will give yourself a big round of applause, because I am so happy to be back to meet all of you supercalifragilisticexpialidocious tribe members. Excellent. So I'm Srinivas. I'm an entrepreneur, a performance coach, and a public speaker. Today I'm going to share my purpose with all of you. Have you ever had this feeling in your journey of life? Ask yourself this question once, that what am I doing with my life? What is my purpose in life? Right? I have been there. But I've also realized that if you look back at the journey of your life, like Anchal mentioned, and if you connect the right dots, then your purpose and the definition of it becomes clearer. In fact, Steve Jobs said that once in his Stanford address. He dropped out of high school, taking some other subjects, and opted in for graphology, and due to which he was able to make some great fonts on the Apple computers and make great designs for the products that he had in his company, right? And very recently I did a talk called the Tibetan Tigress. Some of you might have seen it. Yeah? For those who haven't, the talk was about this Tibetan tigress who was 63 years old, who I met some years ago. She came all the way from Tibet, escaped during 1970 when there was a war and invasion, came to India, settled down in Darjeeling. Every morning since then, she is climbing uphill to the mountains, taking her backpack and selling handicraft for mere 30 to 50 bucks. And then once she comes down, she sells momos and teas in her house. Now, I asked her, why was she doing this? She also had a purpose in life. Her sole purpose was to educate her adopted daughter. Not her own, but adopted daughter, to give her a better education, a better life. And that was her sole purpose. And I'm sure that she has connected those dots back in her life of her trials and her tribulations. So I have a very interesting story and interesting incident to tell you guys. And I'm sure it must have happened to all of you guys. Tell me if I'm correct. Before you go out for a meeting or a date, you're looking for your car keys. You look under the bed, you look in the kitchen, you look for it in the hall room, practically everywhere, frantically in the house, only to realize that those keys were in your pocket all this while. Right? Our purpose is very similar to this particular incident. Throughout our lives in our journey, we do not have to find our purpose, but align ourselves to our purpose, which is hidden all this while within ourselves. So you got to look back inside you to find, or rather align yourself to your purpose. I heard this on a Jay Shetty podcast. Interestingly, it's called On Purpose. So from that perspective, what happened is 3 months ago when I first gave that talk at the Speakers Institute Bootcamp, I spoke about follow your passion and the rest will come. But I also started thinking about what purpose do I have, right? I told you guys my story of how I used to sell watches, how I became a debt collector in a call center, how I then became a coach, a trainer, a digital leader, and today I am now head of human resources for this digital agency, one of India's largest and fastest growing, with over 300 people in Bombay, Delhi, and Bangalore. And my purpose is aligned to what I want to do in my role. And a month back, all of us met and we spoke about our vision, right? Yes? What we did is we laid out a commitment to the world when we spoke of our vision. And not only in front of the tribe members, but also to the entire universe, because your videos are there as a digital footprint on the web. Correct? And to me, that commitment is an expression of vulnerability. That means you're holding yourselves accountable. As my dear friend, mentor, Speakers Institute founder Sam Cawthorn says, to be better at anything, especially public speaking, you have to be vulnerable, right? So I spoke about two things to create interesting pieces of content. One was the Inspiring Tales from India, a series of videos from my stories of people I've met across 300 destinations in India. And the other one was the Crazy Ones podcast, which is a personal growth podcast for the corporate world with profound insights, expert advice, inspiring stories from guests who are the crazy ones. They are the rebels, the misfits, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes who not only follow their passion at work, but also keep their dreams alive and kicking. So that vision was my commitment out there, and to that effect, my purpose now is to follow through with it. And I'm happy to announce that I have already launched 2 videos of the Inspiring Tales from India and 2 more in the coming couple of weeks. Well, that's one part of it, right? Now, my second action item on my vision was to launch the Crazy Ones podcast. What I'm going to do, guys, is next week, I'm going to be recording my very first episode in a studio for the Crazy Ones podcast. Thank you. But there's also a saying, as long as you're thinking anyway, think big. So I'm now thinking big. Coming back to my role as an HR thought leader, I decided that, hey, let's do something that will be larger and bigger than what it is currently. So what I did was I went back and I told myself, what if I could inspire not just 20, 30, hundreds, but many more people? How should I do it? My perfect platform is Kinnect Edge, which I also spoke about in my first video. Kinnect Edge is our in-house learning and development training program with workshops, bootcamps, fitness, education, a lot of things for our connectors, which focuses to help them grow personally as well as professionally. Just yesterday, some of you guys might have seen my Instagram stories. Our Mumbai office was revamped. We actually moved into a new office and we now call it Kinnect Headquarters. It's a very swanky, very cool place which has capacity for about 250 people in Mumbai. And when we started Kinnect Edge about 3 years ago, we've been doing it for the last 3 years, and we've done about 150 training sessions for people in Mumbai, right? But then I said, now that we are growing across geographies, this Kinnect Edge program should also grow much bigger. So to that effect, my purpose from here on is to make this huge success, so that I not only focus on Mumbai but also Delhi, also Bangalore, and probably many more cities where we expand to. Who knows, eventually this, with the help of Inspiring Tales from India and the Crazy Ones podcast, this purpose is becoming a global phenomenon tomorrow, right? I'll let you in on a secret. Do you guys remember Sam Cawthon asked us to write a testimonial for ourselves from somebody who you want to be in a stage or a platform or something of that sort, right? Someone who was invited to this space where you are talking, and Sam did ask us to write a testimonial from the founder or the organizer of that platform. You guys want to know who I chose? All right. Does this name sound familiar? Chris Anderson. Yes? For those who don't know, Chris Anderson is the head of TED. Yes. So I wrote myself a testimonial from Chris Anderson, which roughly says this. Dear Srinivas, thank you for taking the stage at the Global TED stage in Vancouver. Now you are officially the highest rated TED speaker, and your talk of following your passion and the rest will come has become the best TED talk ever. And it has already reached 1 million views. So that is eventually my purpose. Beyond just my organization, I definitely want to influence hundreds, thousands, and maybe millions of people. And I think I can do that with your support. Because as Sam says, the best is yet to come. Thank you.